Sheriff Nugent, 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, I've dealt with policy decisions from Washington on a regular basis, and immigration is the strongest one yet. I deal with it every day. We deal it within the counties that surround and are in this district. Citrus County just had the exact same issue. 12 illegal aliens caught. Call ICE. Come pick up. No, they won't do it because they don't have the people to do it. The part of the problem is it's more than just how you're going to capture 13 million. And the price tag really is the deportation. But we don't even have the resources. So we first have to secure our borders. We keep going back to that.
All right. Sheriff Nugent, Mr. Sager will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but I suspect that you are the only person in this race who has seen the effects of the BP spill from the air and who would have shouldered some of the emergency response if and when oil washed onto the shores of Hernando County. Now that the cap is on and the gutter appears to be shut off, what are the lessons we have learned about offshore drilling and the proper federal response in the aftermath of a drilling disaster?
First thing we've learned is we were lied to by BP. We were lied to those in government that said they have the ability to regulate what's going on out in the Gulf of Mexico. Obviously, they didn't. When you drill at 12,000 feet and you have no contingency plan in place, I'm in charge of emergency management in Hernando County. We have contingency plans for everything. The federal government didn't. The federal government was given a line of BS by BP that we can do this safely. Problem is, in history has shown, they haven't been able to do it. So until we can do it safely and put in those safeguards that allow us to drill offshore, which we are going to have to do at some point in time, you know, when you fly over the coast and you see huge areas of oil floating and no response by the federal government, no skimmer ships, no nothing. And we were able to see that firsthand, and it scares the heck out of me that it could be coming to our shoreline.
Mr. Sager, 1 minute.
Folks, we're all scared. We all know the problems. We can all talk about it. We can fly over it. We can look at it. We can do whatever we want to do. But let me tell you what happened in history. In 1920, the United States of America passed the Merchant Marine Act. Title 27 of that act is called the Jones Act. If I was in Congress, I would have immediately brought a bill to the floor to repeal that bill, allowing foreign nations who wanted to reach out and help us to get into the Gulf of Mexico and help us clean up that mess. Our Congress has failed you. Your president has failed you. In 2011, I will not fail you.
Sheriff Nugent, if I may follow up, you seem to be going in a direction that suggested that you perhaps support the White House's moratorium on drilling in the Gulf.
No, not at all. What we're saying is that until we can prove that we can do it safely, and obviously we haven't to this point, but there's other countries that have been drilling in deep water. And when they drill in deep water, they already start drilling the relief shaft down to be able to capture oil if you do have a blowout. And what history has shown us is until we can prove that it's going to be safe. You know, I saw the effects of the oil. I see up in Cedar Key where they have a $50 or $43 million enterprise up there on hard shell clams. I see what the ability is for Florida to utilize aquaculture to bring resources back in the state and create jobs and bring money to the state. And until we can address those safety issues, of course I would not want to see us drill because we don't want to have a repeat of what we're having today.
Mr. Sager, do you support the White House's moratorium on deep drilling in the Gulf?
I do not. And I don't know where my opponent was on that question. I would like a much clearer answer. Until we do it safely is exactly what President Obama and the Mineral Management Service has been telling us. Until we do it safely. Folks, thousands of people are being put on the unemployment line in the worst economic recession in our nation's history. They are not doing anything wrong. I do not support a blanket moratorium on oil drilling. I will not now, and I will not ever. Until somebody invents a new way for my F-150 truck to get around this great district by wind power or solar power, we are married to oil. Yes, we need to do it safely. Yes, things fail and we need to fix them. But putting a moratorium on something is not going to work. Did we stop nuclear power plants from generating electricity after the 3 Mile Isle accident? No, we did not. This is a gut reaction by an overzealous environmentalist president that must be stopped. He does not have the authority to do it, and it's time we went up there and took it away from him.
Sheriff Nugent, 30 seconds on the moratorium.
What I said was, folks, we need to stop what we're doing today until we recognize and uncover the realities of drilling in deep water. You know, I understand people are going to be out of work, but if you see today, if we just go ahead and start drilling again without understanding the consequences as to why this occurred, there's going to be more than 1,000 people out of work. You're going to close down an entire culture in Levy County. And that county depends upon that for almost all their jobs. So it's not just about, it's not about the, you know, I'm not supporting the president on a moratorium, but what I am supporting is, let's find out what the heck went wrong and how do we fix it before we start doing the exact same thing again.
One moderator at a time, thank you. Mr. Sager, your response.
I honestly thought I wasn't going to get into this argument until the general election, folks. The entire Republican Congress right now that is serving us is railing against the federal moratorium. Our courts are trying to fight back an oppressive executive branch, overreaching its authority over and again. Do you want to take a stand against that executive branch or not? Because if you do, I will gladly champion that cause.
Hear, hear.
Mr. Sager, you are a recent signatory to FreedomWorks' contract from America. Why did you add your name?
Say again?
I said, why did you add your name to the contract from America? What's that all about, and why do you like it?
I have a lot of roots in the Tea Party movement. I'm very proud now to have been labeled the official Tea Party Republican candidate. I wear that badge with honor. And that contract was created last year in 2009 by a young man in Texas who had an idea. He said, it's time for Washington to stop telling us what to do, and it's time for we, the people, to stand up and tell Washington what to do. There are principles on there that I stand with and have fought for the past 9 years of my life, and it was a pleasure, and it was a no-brainer for me to sign that document.
Sheriff Nugent, are you familiar with the contract from America, and what are your thoughts on it?
I have not signed that. There are a few things that I will sign to make a pledge to. One was to eliminate earmarks. Second is as pro-life. Those are issues that I hold dear to me. You know, you can sign all kinds of pledges you want. But, you know, we have a pledge here that was signed. And what does it mean? Does it mean that that you'll change your mind when it's convenient for you? This pledge that Jason signed said that he would repeal, not in 5 years, not in 10 years, but he would repeal any law that he felt was unconstitutional.
Good. That's right.
And that includes Social Security, Medicare, and...
Good. Yeah.
Come on. You can't keep quiet. You can leave the room.
To me, you know, I took care of my folks when they were sick, and I paid their bills because all they had was a small pension from the steel mill, and they had Social Security. We made a pledge to people that we would have Social Security, particularly for those that are 50 and above, near-term retirees. We need to honor that pledge. We need to do other things in regards to